Hello everyone, I'm Mini Maestro and welcome to part 2 of What If Deku Had D&D for a Quirk. I hope you like it, and 15 likes for part 3. First off, there is something in the last part I would like to retcon. In part 1, I said that 1 for All increases all hard stats, but I've decided that it will just be strength. Why? Think about it this way. 100% of 1 for All increases his ability scores by 400, and thus his modifiers by 200. That means that 1% of 1 for All would increase his modifiers by 2. With adding on to Dex, this means for every percent of 1 for All, his armor class would increase by 2. This means that as soon as he would get full cowling, he'll be untouchable aside from nat 20s. So just strength. And increasing his con modifier would just be confusing, mechanics-wise. Hey, my first retcon. By the way, everyone, I've decided to start a new What If every time one of my What Ifs reaches part 3. Why? It's good for business. The exceptions will obviously be what ifs that are part of specials, like the first part of this what if was. Now, until I reach 2,000 subscribers, the community tab will not be accessible by me, so I'll just be picking them myself until I'm able to let you guys vote. Got it? Good. So if you don't like the current lineup, just press the like button on other videos to get a new one. Is it cheeky? Maybe. Will it work? Let's see. But for now, enjoy the video. Deku was heading off to his first day at UA. After a while, he finally found Class 1A and saw the size of the door. "Do giants go to this school?" he screamed in his head. He took a deep breath and walked through the door, seeing Ida and Bakugo arguing. Bakugo notices Deku and gets a flashback. "It's incredible! 2 students from our school are going to UA! And to think you're one of them, Midoriya! It's a miracle! To think someone with a quirk like yours could have such hidden potential." Minutes later, Bakugo was pinning Deku to a wall. "How did you get into UA? You must have cheated." "I didn't cheat, Kacchan." "You really think I'd believe that?" "Kacchan, let me go." Bakugo didn't budge. At first. Shortly after Deku said that, it was like his presence changed. Deku's been serious before, but this was nothing like it. For a moment, it terrified Bakugo. Fear entered his eyes, if only for an instant. He let go of Deku as his presence appeared to return to normal. "Whatever, it's not even worth it." Bakugo walked away. And that was when he came back to the present moment. Bakugo saw Ida introduce himself to Deku, and a brunette came up behind him. Bakugo scoffed. How was he scared of that flustered loser? "If you're here to make friends, you might as well leave now." Everyone turned towards a tired-looking man in a yellow sleeping bag. He got up. "I'm Shota Aizawa. I'm your homeroom teacher." Everyone was shocked. "Put these on and meet me outside." Aizawa pulled out some gym uniforms out of his sleeping bag. Deku rolled an insight check. 7. Not high enough. Deku had no clue who this guy was. A few minutes later, everyone arrived outside. "Bakugo Katsuki. Step up." Bakugo walked up. "What was your best softball throw in middle school?" 67 meters. Try doing it with your quirk." Bakugo took the ball and threw it, propelling it with an explosion, yelling out, "Die!" Aizawa lifted the scanner. 750 meters. everyone was stunned. Everyone is going to be doing various tests using their quirks in any way they can. Then everyone got excited. "This is gonna be fun!" Ashido said. "Fun, huh? Are you going to carry yourself with that attitude the whole time? How about this? Whoever gets in last place will be expelled." People began to complain until I was pointed out that life isn't fair and it's a hero's job to combat the unfairness. Then they started the tests. Before the 50-meter dash, Deku was thinking, "My base speed is 45 feet. If I dash, I'll be running at 90 feet. I can spend key points, then I can go... If I can spend key points, then I can go to 135 feet. I should be able to make it with just 2 key points." The starting gun goes off and he starts running, getting exactly 7 seconds. Yeah, it turns out D&D characters are slow. I actually did the math for this. Ugh. He barely got average. For all the tests that can't be calculated exactly in D&D terms, he does slightly better. For the long jump, he jumps 6 feet. Finally, there's the ball throw. The distance for a thrown weapon is 60 feet with disadvantage. I don't need to worry about aim, so I can go ahead with the 60 feet, but it definitely still won't be enough. I can use one for all. If I remember correctly, it should increase my distance by 2,000 feet. But if I do, my arm will be broken, and I think I might need my arms to be intact. Should I use it? Hurry up or you'll be disqualified. If he doesn't get a good score soon, he'll get expelled, Ida said. Of course he's going to lose. His quirk is useless. It doesn't change a thing. All it does is let him succeed at something better than usual if he's lucky. Really? Yeah. In that case, he must have gotten pretty lucky in the entrance exam. Deku got ready to throw. He charged up one for all and threw. 48 meters! What? Deku thought. I was sure I used one for all. And what's with that number? Isn't 60 feet about 18 meters? I erased your quirk, Aizawa said. Deku turned to see Aizawa's eyes slightly glowing and his scarf flying around him. Wait, you're Eraserhead. You can erase other people's quirks just by looking at them. Deku then realized he couldn't see his stats, key points, or anything else. You intend to become incapacitated again and have someone else save you? Midoriya Izuku, with your power you can't become a hero. Even if you're decent with a sword, the only reason you got villain points is because you targeted the ones that were already damaged. The capture scarf flowed down and Aizawa closed his eyes. I've returned your quirk. Deku goes back into the circle and picks up the ball. I can't take out my whole arm. I need to think. That moment, Deku figured it out. He threw the ball, concentrating one for all on his fingertip. The ball goes shooting up. 627.88 meters! See, Aizawa-sensei, I can still move. Something appeared in Deku's field of vision. It looked like the top half of a sun symbol. It was labeled Inspiration. Deku was surprised, but quickly shook it off. He needed to focus. Bakugo was stunned. Then he charges. Deku! He goes for an explosion. Deku rolls his save. 10. Save passed. Deku jumps out of the way, but just barely. 2d6s roll. A 5 and a 4. They get halved, and Deku takes 3 bludgeoning damage and 2 fire damage. Deku responds with a kick. 17. It cracks against Bakugo's skull. A d6 rolls for 8 damage. Bakugo is surprised by how much it hurt. Aizawa then turns off Bakugo's quirk and restrains him. You're wasting time. Aizawa lets Bakugo go. Try that again and you'll be expelled. Midoriya. Good reflexes. In the long distance run, Deku does much better as his stamina is basically unlimited due to the effects of dice. He does better with the seated toe touch and sit-ups. Then, the final results are revealed. Deku is at the bottom. By the way, no one's getting kicked out. It was a rational deception to draw out the upper limits of your quirks. A bit later, after what happens in canon happens here, All Might approaches Aizawa. I thought April Fool's was last week. What? I know how you actually work. You cut those you judge to be without potential without hesitation. I decided that kicking Midoriya would be a waste of potential, that's all. I will always cut those without potential. Outside, Deku was heading to the station with Tokoyami and Mineta, and was then approached by Ida and a bit later Uraraka. You four are going to the station, right? You're Ida, Tenya, Mineta Minoru, Tokoyami Fumakage, and Deku. Midoriya Deku, right? Deku is then embarrassed. Actually his name is Izuku. Bakugo calls him Deku to make fun of him, Mineta corrected. Oh, I'm sorry. But you know what? I kinda like Deku. It would make a good hero name. She makes a good point, Midoriya, Tokoyami points out. Okay, sure, Deku said nervously. By the way, Deku, what's your quirk anyway? My quirk? Yes, I was wondering about that myself. I briefly spoke with Bakugo, and from what he said, it appears to be based on luck. My quirk is called Dice. Have either of you ever heard of the game Dungeons and Dragons? I never got the opportunity to play it. I was never really interested. Well, my quirk basically applies the mechanics of D&D to me. That's a bit weird. So that's why it's luck-based. But what about that incredible show of power? I don't really know. It just showed up the day before the entrance exam when I was training. The weirder part is, a day earlier I was able to choose a race in class. Choose a race? You look normal to me. Decided to go with human since we don't know how picking another race will affect me. Ah, so what class did you pick? Uraraka and Ida continued asking questions like this. They also ended up demonstrating his resistance to quirks, being able to hold on to his gravity a little less than half the time when Uraraka used her quirk on him. The next day, everyone was in class when All Might came through the door. Everyone was excited to see him. All Might walked up to the podium and began to speak. This is the most important class at UA. Think of it as Heroing 101. Now get ready. Today's lesson will pull no punches. All Might pulls out a card with the word battle on it. Fight training. Finally something good. But part of being a hero is looking good. All Might presses a button on the remote and cases come out of the wall. A bit later, everyone comes out in their hero costumes. Deku's hero costume is a lot different. It looks slightly similar to the Fantasy AU Deku, but instead of the vest, he has an open beige crop jacket with the symbol of Io on his back. For reference, Io is... Wait a minute. Is it explained to everyone later in the script? Oh yeah, it is. And the clothes are more modernized and not as loose. Finally, his sword has a crystal D20 as the tip of the hilt positioned with the D20 up, with the 20 up. Plus, he's wearing a visor made so that he can tell distances and stuff. Wow, Deku, your hero costume is so cool, but why beige and what's the symbol on the back? You'll see. Deku smiles. Tokoyami approaches. That's the symbol of Io, the father of Bahamut and Tiamat, the dragon gods of good and evil respectively, from which all dragons are descended. Mineta followed behind. Midoriya, are you saying you're on par with a god? Of course not! It's there for a completely different reason. He then notices Uraraka's hero costume and rolls a wisdom save. 11. He barely manages to keep his cool. Ooh, how mysterious. I should have been more specific with what I wanted. This costume is skin tight. I love this school, Mineta said. Mineta, please don't, Deku pleaded. All Might cleared his throat and explained the exercise. Deku and Uraraka get paired up just like canon. They're outside the building. All Might is an awesome teacher. I'm glad he isn't threatening us with some punishment like Aizawa-sensei. Yeah, definite. Deku was cut off by something he didn't expect. What? What is it, Deku-kun? In front of Deku's eyes were the words, "Add Uraraka Ochako to party," and the words, "yes" and "no" below it. It's just like when my quirk evolved, but instead it's asking if I want to add you to the party. Party? Yeah, as in a group of people who adventure together. That's what it's called in D&D. Well, say yes and see what happens. Deku selects yes, and Uraraka was surprised. Whoa! What? Some words just appeared in front of me. Select race. This is exactly what happened when my quirk evolved. It looks like I can spread it to others. Uraraka looked through the races. I think I'll pick half-elf. We'll never know if picking the other races is fine health-wise unless we venture into a bit deeper, and half-elf is partially human, right? Yeah. Uraraka quickly became overwhelmed with how she had to do it, but Deku helped her through it. After they finished, Uraraka began to glow. When it dissipated, she was a half-elf druid. In her hands, she held a quarterstaff and a dagger. At her feet were an explorer's pack and a sprig of holly. She also noticed a sheath on her hips and a tie on her back to keep the staff there. Cool, Uraraka stated. But what do I do with those? Uraraka gestured to the pack and holly. Just leave the explorer's pack. You can sell it for money later or something. As for the holly, you should try and figure out a way to keep it with you. After today, I could turn it into a hairpin. That's a good idea, but for now, I guess you should just hold on to it. Start! All Might yelled over the loudspeaker. Okay, let's get going. The two entered the building. After a bit of walking, something appeared. Initiative rolled. Deku got a 20, Uraraka got a 22. Words appeared. Surprise round. Bakugo jumped out from behind a corner. A d20 rolled. Nat 1. Bakugo nailed Deku in the side. Dex save failed. 2 d6s rolled. 6 bludgeoning damage and 1 fire damage. Deku got launched to the side. Deku-kun! Uraraka cries out. I'm fine. Just stick to the plan. Right. Uraraka started to run off. Bakugo was too fixated on Deku to notice her new gear. So, Deku, are you going to tell me why you've been holding back this whole time? I haven't, Bakugo. It's a recent development. Deku dashed away, spending a key point to go at his max speed. He turned the corner. Deku, stop running! Bakugo charged around the corner and attempted to blast Deku. Dexterity save. The d20 rolled. 13. Deku dodged, but still got a bit hurt. The damage rolled. Deku ended up taking 6 damage. Deku faced Bakugo. Not the defenseless weak Deku you know, Bakugo. From now on, Deku will be the name of a hero! Deku attempted an intimidation check. 3. Terrible. Definitely not good enough. Guess I'll be using that, Deku thought. The check re-rolled. In that moment, Bakugo felt the presence again. The same presence that terrified him before. But this time, he was able to shake it off. Do you want to know how my quirk works, Deku? I sweat in nitroglycerin-like material and make it blow up. These gauntlets store my sweat. What are you saying? Wait. Yup. Bakugo got ready to blast Deku. Cease at once, young Bakugo. You'll kill him! All Might commanded over the comms. Nah, he never gets hurt by my explosions as much as he should. Bakugo let the ping go. Dexterity save. 9. Save failed. Deku got hit with the full force of the attack. 4 d12s rolled. 20 bludgeoning damage, 7 fire damage. Deku was sent flying back. Bakugo was smiling. Until he saw Deku get up and begin to approach him. I can't use that new power, Bakugo. It's too self-destructive. I will admit that if my quirk never evolved, I likely would be unconscious after you first hit me. Since you showed me the rabbit in your hat, I guess I'll show you the dragon in mine. Deku looked up and saw that he was within 30 feet of Bakugo. Perfect. Deku looked at Bakugo as his crop jacket turned from beige to a gold color. Breath of the Gold Dragon! Deku cried out. He let out a breath and a line of fire blasted out of his mouth. Bakugo got blasted by the fire and rolled his save. Roll damage. 2d6 is rolled. 6 damage. In the observation room, everyone was left speechless. What was that? Was he not using his quirk until now? Mineta and Tokuyami figured it out after a few seconds. Wait! His subclass! He never told us what he picked! Indeed. It figures he would choose it. It was debated whether or not it was imbalanced when it was first announced, and the symbol of Io on his back. We should have figured it out earlier. Choose what? All Might asked. Remember how we told you Deku's quirk let him choose a class from D&D? Well, he chose Monk. And at either levels 1, 2, or 3, depending on the class, you get to choose a subclass. The subclass Midoriya chose is the Way of the Ascended Dragon. Bakugo got up. Was that Deku? Deku ran up to Bakugo, his crop jacket now turning blue as his fist buzzed with electricity of the same color. He went to punch Bakugo. 11. He hit Bakugo's arm. 4 lightning damage. He threw a kick. Missed. He spent a key point to hit Bakugo with one more attack. Nat 20. Critical strike! Deku yelled. 9 damage. He went for one last punch to the face and Bakugo was KO'd. The last thing you realized when Deku hit him was that it didn't feel like physical force. Just electrical shock. I hope Uraraka found the bomb. Meanwhile, Uraraka was looking at Ida. She was hiding behind a pillar. A d20 rolled. 14. Hidden. Ida did his best villain voice. Wisdom save. 14. Save passed. Uraraka managed to stifle her laugh. Okay, she thought. I think he's in range. Let's try this. Uraraka whispered, Frostbite! While putting her hand forward. Frost formed over Ida's arm. Yeah! Frost? Where did that come from? Words appeared in Uraraka's vision. Save succeeded. Dang it, let's try again. Frostbite! Frost formed on Ida's leg this time. Gah! It hurts! A d6 rolled. 5. Yes! Uraraka accidentally yelled. She immediately covered her mouth. Uraraka? She came out from behind the pillar. What happened to your ears? And where did you get those weapons? Initiative was rolled. 11. Uraraka went first. Sorry, Ida. I'll explain later. She ran forwards. Frostbite! Frost formed over Ida's torso. A d6 rolled. 1. Uraraka, how's your progress? Ida spotted me. How are you doing this? Ida ran forward to hit Uraraka with a kick. Uraraka dodged. What floor? 5th. I'm on my way. Deku approached the window. Wings unfurled! Green spectral wings burst from Deku's back as he flew out of the window into the window on the 5th floor. Not great. Shillelagh! Uraraka yelled as she drew her quarterstaff with her holly in her left hand. 23. The quarterstaff struck Ida across the face. A d8 rolled. 9 damage. Ida fell onto the floor, knocked out. Hero team wins! All Might yelled over the speaker. We did it! Uraraka cheered. She noticed Deku's burns and bruises. Deku-kun! Don't worry, I can use my hit dice to heal over the course of a half hour, and the rest I can probably heal with my ki. You probably should heal Ida and Kachan. It won't heal them fully, but they'll have to endure the side effects of Recovery Girl's quirk less. Are you sure? Yeah, I'll be fine. Okay. Deku touched Ida's arm. Cure wounds. A d8 rolled. Ida was healed for 4 damage. He groaned as he got up. What happened? Uraraka smiled. We beat you. Uraraka, your ears. It's Deku-kun's quirk. We found out he can spread it to other people just before we went in. I see. I'm guessing that's how you caused frost to form over my body. Yeah, I'm going to go down and heal Bakugo now. Uraraka went downstairs. Cure wounds. Bakugo woke up in a flurry. What happened? Where's Deku? He's upstairs with Ida. Get out of my way, round cheeks. I'm gonna kill that nerd. What? You heard me! Bakugo started walking off. Suddenly, All Might was in the room. Young Bakugo, a word. Bakugo scoffed. Minutes later, in the observation room, All Might prepared to review the fight. Now, the MVP of the fight is Midoriya Izuku. Would anyone like to guess why? Yaoyorozu stepped up. Midoriya created a plan that took their new information into account. Also, before the fight, he advised Uraraka on her new abilities, and spent most of his time distracting Bakugo. Once he was finished, he went to assist Uraraka as soon as he could. That is correct. Wait! We have some stuff too! Midoriya could have used a cone with his fire attack to limit Bakugo's mobility for when he comes out okay, but he went for a line. Furthermore, Midoriya leading Bakugo away wasn't just good for overall strategy, but also combat strategy, as the monk class's abilities lend themselves well for one-on-one fights. All Might was surprised. He didn't know much about D&D, and so he didn't know some of that stuff. After that, everyone tried to one-up how well Deku and Uraraka did. The only one who succeeded was Todoroki, who froze the whole building. As Deku said, he healed a lot after the half hour, refusing treatment from Recovery Girl. He also encouraged Uraraka to look into druid abilities that she'll get and look up the subclasses when she gets to choose. During the whole time, Deku couldn't help but think about what he discovered about his quirk today. And that was What If Deku Had D&D for a Quirk Part 2. I hope you enjoyed it. And how was the reveal of Deku picking the way of the Ascendant Dragon? Were you surprised? I feel like I executed the reveal well. Also, yeah, Deku can spread his quirk to other people. This was something I came up with early in development. I already came up with the race class combos for most of the characters we care about, so I hate to say this, but your idea for someone won't get in unless I decide it's better than what I already have planned. Either way, 15 likes for part 3, which will unlock a new What If. Until next time, Mabu, hi!